here as an identity and there's nowhere to go, then what?
Then who wants to know? I mean, who wants to know then what?
When you saw this, did you feel then that your life was over?
When I saw what?
What you're talking about, that there's no one there who is trying to escape, and there's no escaping to be done.
So it's not even true to say there's no one there. I mean, even that can just become another fixed concept. The concept that there's no one there, there's no me, there's no self. Ultimately, it's just another concept. So it's not even true to say really that there's no one there. What's more true, I mean, ultimately you can't capture this in words, but what's probably more true is that it's not that there's no one there. It's that when I look, I can't find anyone there. But at the same time, I can't know that there's no one there. And the question is, who would know? Who would know that? Who would know that there's no one there? All you can really say is that when you look to see if you can find any separate entity there, you simply can't find it. But also, you can't find the absence. You can't find the opposite of the someone. So you can't find the no one either, because no one is just another concept. So really, in the end, you can't say anything. What you can say probably is that the story of someone appears.
Yeah.
So what there appears to be is the story of someone, the story of me, the story of someone looking for something.
So is this then?
Well, the death of the story of Jeff is the recognition that it's just a story. It has no existence outside of a present appearance. But that's the death. So it's not that anyone actually dies. It's not that Jeff actually dies. Jeff doesn't experience that death. The death is life. I mean, you can't put this into words. But you know, it's the death of Jeff is the recognition that Jeff is just a story. But that doesn't mean that it doesn't mean that the Jeff story disappears. That's what a lot of people are trying to do, is to get rid of the story. To get rid of the story of the character. Yeah. To try to move from story to no story. But that's just another story.
So would you say then, I mean, to quote U.G. Krishnamurti when he says that this instrument, the mind, is the wrong instrument to figure this out, and there is no other instrument, would you say that which I like that, but would you say that you're trying to help people figure out what they can't figure out?
No, I'm showing them where they're already trying to figure out something that can't be figured out. So I'm not saying that I figured it out and they haven't. What I see is a lot of people are trying to figure it out.
And every question that comes to you is a figuring it out question, surely.
Yeah, it's thought trying to understand. It's trying to figure it out. So when you try to figure out something that ultimately can't be figured out, when you try to understand something that ultimately can't be understood, then confusion appears. And then people think that there's a problem with confusion. So they think, if I could understand this, one day I will understand this. One day I will have figured it out. One day I'll figure it out. And that will put an end to my confusion. So what they're doing is that they're seeking a way out of confusion.
And you're trying to explain something that can't be explained.
I'm not trying to explain this. You can't explain this. So what I'm doing is, as like I said, like exposing our attempts to understand it. And then what's left then doesn't need to be understood. So there's nothing to understand, and we try to understand. There's nothing to understand. Life as it is doesn't need to be understood.
So do we need to stop trying to understand?
Well, so then the question is,
more doing, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, who is trying to understand? So who is the one trying to understand? So we say, I am trying to understand. I am trying to understand life.
Yeah. But
we never stop to. We're so busy trying to understand, we don't stop to take a look. What is this I? Where is this I? Who is trying to understand?
Yeah. And I think what gets played out is every time you speak. My experience of that is that I kind of feel like I'm left with nowhere to go, and then the next question pops up, which is an attempt to go somewhere.
A question isn't an attempt to go somewhere. A question is just a question popping up. No one is trying to go anywhere. A question is just popping up. But then it's identified with, so we say it's my question. I have a question.
Because I'm coming from the assumption of me.
Well, there's the assumption that someone has the question. The reality is, if you just look, the reality is that thoughts just appear. Questions just appear.
Yeah.
Questions are just thoughts. So questions appear, and there's no problem. So like the birds singing appears, sounds appears, everything appears, and a question appears. So a question is just part of everything. But then thought says it's my question. I have a question. So then you think that you have a question that needs to be answered. I am the questioner.
Of course, I could never know that I'm not here.
You could never know that you're not here. True. And even if you were absolutely certain that you weren't here, that would just be something appearing here. So the certainty that you're not here would just be another experience happening here, because experience is always present. So you'll never find anything outside of present experience. So even the absolute certainty that you're not here is just an experience of lack of certainty appearing here. So that's all it is. So you can't escape this.
And I always notice when we've had these kind of conversations that there's a frustration that comes with that, and it's like I don't find that the realization that it's just what's happening now isn't experienced as peaceful. It's experienced as frustrating, and I'm wondering about that. Because you don't come across as frustrated.
Well, the frustration is your attempt to understand. And you think you're frustrated because you haven't understood yet.
Yeah.
So you're seeking a way out of frustration because you think there's something wrong with frustration.
Yeah.
Frustration is uncomfortable. Frustration is not okay. So I'm frustrated because I don't understand. Once I understand, this is what you think. Once I understand, the frustration will disappear. So you think understanding is the solution to the problem of frustration.
Yeah.
And of course it's the search for understanding that is the problem.
Yeah.
It's the problem. So it makes frustration into a problem. So then the question is really, is frustration a problem? And underneath that is, the fundamental question: who is frustrated? So can you find anyone there who is frustrated? Is that the experience, or is the experience just that frustration is appearing in awareness now?
Yeah.
And then thought says it's my frustration. I am frustrated.
Yeah.